Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital worlds. Welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. OBS Chan seems working just fine. Let's hop into this. Okay, I gotta double check OBS. Yep, all good. So I'm using the Throne of Darkness spell. We're currently level 185. Started this now because we may crash the game from the amount of shrines I'm getting. I really don't think I'm getting that many. It does seem to definitely spawn less. Chests. You have more. Got a lot of shrines right here. Is anyone keeping track of counting them? Yes, you. How many are there? Resisting the urge to double check OBS. I once made a video called Ministry of Off-Brand Anomalous Anime. So, can anyone decide what's in what part of this witch Venn diagram? Remember, like, this class sucks. There's a Venn diagram, 28 circles. Pretty high movement speed, but only a sixth of the highest we've had. If I can pick up the chest. Just gonna stand here. Ignore it. Listening to a person yawning while playing a game because, I don't know, I'm tired. Sleepy. Kind of stacking those shrines kind of high. How fast am I moving? Sure. Let's do that now. I have 16 revives. At this point, I'm just sitting on a fucking mountain of Dragon Balls. I don't know, what if you had like I've already made ideas, like joke ideas of what ifs for, not intricate mind you, just like, hey, what if Ox King is actually, you know, the descendant or of the King Yama, which then means Gohan is descendant of King Yama. Or what if Yamcha had Frieza's potential? Or what if Yamcha, after meeting his new best buddy Goku, was like, well, Goku doesn't know, like, all he knew was his grandpa Gohan, that dude's dead. So what if Yamcha used the Dragon Balls to bring, well, initially maybe Grandpa Gohan back, but Gohan's like, nah. So he's like, well, brings back Bardock. So you have Yamcha with Frieza potential, possibly Goku also Frieza potential. Let's just say Goku, Gohan, Yamcha, Krillin, Tien, all have Frieza potential. I don't know. Maybe not Tien, I don't know. So I feel like he probably, you know, he was on a little bit of a darker path at first. Same with Piccolo. It's like, I don't want them to blow up the planet. People live there. But I'm just saying, you know, Yamcha and Goku and Krillin have more potential than what normally they have. Even if it's not Frieza's potential, just a little bit more than is initial for all three of them. And Bardock gets wished back at the end of the Pilaf saga. In addition to that, I mean, what about the idea, like, let's say
all the Dragon Ball Z movie villains are canon. You're like, well, what about the Dragon Ball Super? Like, what do you mean? Well, I mean, there's a Broly from Z and a Broly from Super. Well, they can both be canon. I mean, King Vegeta could have just made a habit of, yeeting people into space, I guess. I don't know. But yep, you get banished. You get banished to this planet. You go to Vampa. And you go to... Well, actually, Paragus and Broly and Z were just straight up killed. And then Frieza blew up the planet. And baby Broly became a Super Saiyan. I'm just saying, what if both... They just... One of them would have a different name. And whichever one has to change their name, probably based on, everyone's point of view in terms of who's your favorite Broly. So... But one of them gets changed. Or maybe Broly's just a common name. I don't know. Maybe there's 20 Brolys. And they all had high power. And King Vegeta just kept banishing everyone. Like, that's the 7th one this week, King Vegeta. I don't know. Bullshit ideas. I don't know. But yeah, like, what if all the movie villains were canon? Or here's another idea. Garlic Jr. Let's say that movie happens, like, Gohan's, like, 1 or 2 or something. But let's say during the Garlic Jr. movie, let's say Ox King, Chi-Chi, Yamcha, Piccolo, and Kami all die. And of course that means, no Dragon Balls. So then we have a situation where Goku would probably train... Like, he probably wouldn't push Gohan much on training right away, because Gohan would just still be a 2-year-old, But, like, what if Goku were to, like, just train a whole lot more than he did initially? Because here's the thing, that's one thing I always saw, it's like, Goku's power level is the same at the start of Z as it was at the end of Dragon Ball. If I'm remembering that correctly. I might not be. Now, of course, Piccolo and Kami are dead. The Dragon Balls are gone. Chi-Chi's gone. Ox King's gone. Yamcha's gone. And let's say Goku trains really, really hard after the whole Garlic thing. And he keeps in mind that, Gohan is the one who knocked Garlic Jr. in the dead zone. So he's like, okay, in the future I gotta train Gohan, but for now, Gohan's a little kid. So, just do little kid things. Like school and going to the park and reading books and stories. Also, like, what if during that time, not Goku not only trains, but what if he, Dr. Brief winds up working on the whole increased gravity thing early on? So that Goku's able to do the increased gravity training much earlier. So, Goku should at least be able to make it up to bare minimum 180,000 by the time Raditz shows up. So, yeah, he doesn't have Yamcha and Piccolo to back him up, but he'll have 180,000. Then again, what if you went back to the original Dragon Ball Z? What if Yamcha was there and, went, tried to fight Raditz, or at least, tried to help Piccolo and Goku against Raditz? I don't know. Well, let's just say, Piccolo, and let's just say Goku also, since he's doing the gravity chamber, gets to know Dr. Brief a little more, talks to Dr. Brief, and Dr. Brief brings him an idea, for Goku to do some more, normal schooling, since he really didn't get much of a chance to do that in DBZ. So let's say Goku actually does schooling and actually, gets his high school diploma and all that stuff. Because initially Goku was not meant to be stupid. He was just meant to be, hey, I'm a guy who grew up in the woods. I haven't exactly had algebra books in front of me. And I'm not really like at one point he saw a Bulma of lipstick and he thought, she was hurt because of the bright red color. It's not that Goku's dumb, he just wasn't exposed to that information before. It'd be kind of like if you took someone from 1,000 years ago. They're not dumb, but if you showed them a car, they'd be like, what the fuck is this? They're not dumb. It's a new experience. And it's just something they would have never encountered. Same way, a person who's, say, a biology or a chemistry, PhD, really smart, but if you probably, put astrophysics in front of them, I'm sure they could learn it, but it'd probably be pretty new territory for them. And they probably wouldn't know how to do a lot of it. Or say if you took like a really good car mechanic and a bilingual, language translator, and granted, there's people that probably do both jobs, but I'm just saying both are smart people, but both would probably struggle to do the other person's job. It's kind of like doctors. Yes, there's lots of very smart doctors, but there's some fields in medicine that just have so much information and take so much time to study that we have to have some people that, exclude learning about certain things to be experts in other things. Just because, the human brain has a kind of a limit to how much you can actually learn. I do feel like I'm much dumber than I was when I was younger. It's a lot harder for me to learn new things now. I struggle with it, and then it makes me feel like I'm dumb. And I feel sad. Mainly just because low self-esteem shit. But then again, that's fine, because I have hundreds of things to feel, low self-esteem about. I'm sure we all do. I'm just a dude who works at a factory and yells at video games and reads books. I like reading. Some of those books are on physics and chemistry. A lot of those books are anime and light novels. Some of the books are hentai. Some of the books are Warhammer. Some of the books are literally books, on religious things like the Talmud or Quran or the Bible or the different versions of the Bible. Or the Mission. If I'm remembering that one right. Or, what I want to do? I want to look up the Lutheran Reform, because I think it was a list of 90 some odd things that were part of that little disagreement thing that he posted in Protestant Reformation. I want to look that up and just read that. Probably should read through the Geneva Convention again. It's been a long time on that. Juggernaut! What the fuck am I talking about? How do we get on this part of the conversation? Where did it start? What was I supposed to be talking about? I know I said something about hentai at some point. Great, all the things I fucking mentioned, that's what I remember? Oh, about mechanics. Mechanics and language people. Both are things that require a lot of learning and dedication. And both people could learn the other person's trade. It would just take time. Somehow Goku... Right, I'm just saying. Goku's not meant to be dumb. Actually, but I do understand where they're coming from. One, Goku was kind of Flanderized for the sake of comedy. It's kind of like Ned Flanders in The Simpsons. Originally, there was supposed to be a lot more of his character. It was just introduced like, okay, he's your typical, example of a man who's like, okay, this guy goes to church, and he's supposed to be your normal, average man. Ned Flanders was supposed to be an example of what the normal church-going man is compared to someone like Homer Simpson, which I guess both Homer and Ned Flanders are different takes on the ideas for a normal person. Because at the end of the day, what the fuck is normal? Also, is there a corrupt... Because I'll say this, I would like to say I can try to define what's normal, but I'm probably the least qualified person for that because I don't think I count as a normal person. In the regard that I just... kind of silly. I mean, who else watches as much anime as me? I can't say I'm normal with the amount of anime I watch. But yeah, Ned Flanders really wasn't supposed to be that much of a religious person, or the way he was. It was supposed to be one facet of who he was. But then they just kept dialing it up and concentrating on it. Same way with Goku, like the whole non-romantic thing and him being dumb. Keep getting played for laugh and it kept being taken more and more serious. But of course, it's Akira Toriyama's character. He can do whatever the hell he wants with his character. It's his story. I'm just some guy who's a fan of the story and is like, I'd like it if the main character wasn't a dumbass. But it also makes sense that, Akira Toriyama wrote him the way he did. Simply because, Toriyama, one, while it was more a focus on comedy in Dragon Ball, it was still a martial arts anime. And of course in Z, it was still comedy, but it focused more on the action. You're still sleepy. But, sorry, I'm spacing out. I'm trying to pay attention to myself. I can't even pay attention to myself here. Fuck. I'm just saying Goku eventually got, they made his character more and more one-dimensional. So rather than him having some sort of character development and improving as a character, they just sort of started making him less and less deep as an individual. Which again, I understand. It's supposed to be focused as a fighting show. It's not supposed to take it that serious. It's just like, whoa, it's cool, and we're all basically fucking Zeno. How Zeno's going, ooh, Goku's shiny, that's all of us. Which, again, that's all, including me. It's cool to watch Goku do stuff. I'm just saying it's cool to watch Goku do stuff. But it's just, Goku could have been a lot more. But then again, there are several things to be said for that. One, like I said, it's Akira Toriyama's character. He can do what he wants with his character. It's his character. It's his story. But, I'm just saying, a lot of, slow down. I need a floating navi with a whiteboard to remind me what I'm talking about. It's like I keep not paying attention to myself, I guess. And I'm like, what the fuck was I talking about? But anyway, shit. Oh yeah, but one, it makes sense he wouldn't really focus on romantic stuff. Because, Akira Toriyama didn't want the show to be about that. He wanted it to be an action show with some comedy. He didn't want to focus on romance. Because one, he didn't want the show to be about it. It'd be kind of like saying, you need more horror elements in your JoJo bizarre adventure, I'm like, it's not really meant to be that, right? You know, you're supposed to at least try to stay to a certain genre, right? That's how that works. I'm trying to think of an example. Like, I don't know. Shit. Yeah, it'd be like, what if Baki the Grappler suddenly was trying to be like more like Conan the Detective? Or Conan the Detective tried to be more like Baki the Grappler. I mean, they're both really good shows in of their own right. But Baki the Grappler is not a detective show. Same way... Oh, I have overlevel. I forgot about that. But, yeah, just... Akira Toriyama didn't write the stuff of Goku being all romantic and flirty and sexual with Chi-Chi, or... Well, in this case, as I mentioned the idea that Chi-Chi would die, I guess Goku would then, like before Raditz even shows up, let's say Goku and Bulma get together and get married, and Bulma is Goku's second wife. And they already, like, Bulma's already had a kid by the time Raditz shows up. So, that'd be Trunks, the next kid would still be Goten. But... Where are we going with the conversation? I don't know! I keep forgetting what the fuck I'm talking about. But... trying really hard to remember things, guys. Apparently all the, like, exploding demons does not help my memory. Not a memory good thing. Wow, I sound like a dumbass. It's not beneficial for my ability to retain information. How about that? It's a smarter way. I still sound stupid. Whatever. Well, shut up. Go fuck yourself. Okay, that's not helping me focus. Oh no, my shield. Something about Goku. Oh, right. Other reasons why, Akira Toriyama couldn't do it. One, he didn't want the show to be about sexual stuff. Two, he didn't think he was really qualified to write stories about romance. He didn't think he would do good at it. He didn't think he really understood how romance actually worked, and he felt that if he had tried to use it as part of the story, that he would have done a very bad job. So he avoided it. Also, it probably would have fucked with his rating system. I mean, if there was a scene of just Goku just bouncing Chi-Chi on his dick, I'm pretty sure even Adult Swim, would not have aired that. Like, there have to be limitations about what you show. It's kind of like Batman. Like, I enjoy, like, posing philosophical questions for bullshit reasons in terms of anime and cartoons, because it's just fun. But people are like, well, what about Batman's policy against not killing? Well, first off, his main reason in terms of the story is that Batman is emotionally unwell. He's very traumatized, and he does not trust his own ability to cross that line and come back. Because he wants to. Batman actually wants to cross that line, and he is... But one, he has a lot of pride. Two, he has a lot of a sense of honor, which are two separate things. Three, he'd be extremely guilty feeling about it. Four is that he has a lot of anger and grief about a lot of things to where he wants. And of course he's had that logical conversation with himself about like, well, the Joker's done all these horrible things. We should put him down to stop him from hurting other people. Though, let's be logical about this. One, his main reason for not doing it is, well, one, it's wrong to kill people. Two is I should drink something with caffeine. 2 is in a world like that, I'm pretty sure, like the whole Injustice game, where, Joker nukes a fucking city. I'm pretty sure even in a world that had universally, abolished the death penalty, I'm pretty sure every country in the world, especially, the ones, America at that point, because I think it's supposed to be New York. No, New York's Gotham. What's Metropolis? What city is Metropolis supposed to be? That was still odd in the Batman vs Superman. Like, I really enjoyed the Ben Affleck Batman. I enjoyed watching Batman vs Superman. I thought it was a really good movie. People said, "Oh, it's lame about the whole Martha thing." It's humanizing the characters. It's, you're trying to see the motivations of people. But I'm just saying, it's just, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the Ben Affleck Batman. I enjoyed all the Batmans. I'm just saying, and of course, Henry Cavill, I think that's how you pronounce it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool Superman. Hey, hopefully we'll get another Superman movie with him. Just saying, the Injustice thing. Like, not only even the countries that weren't involved in the shit that happened, they would have been calling it, yeah, maybe. Because even in a world where they abolish death penalty, like, yeah. I mean, at that point, he's done some really, really bad things. I'm pretty sure, like, at that point, it's not Batman's responsibility to do that. And, of course, in that situation, not only did, he nuke fucking cities, but, I mean, Joker's killed a lot of people. But at the end of the day, just for what he did against Superman, I mean, nobody can blame Superman for that. I don't think no one could prosecute him. I'm just saying, really, no one would have a right to prosecute. Like, you'd have a right at that point. But he did go way, way, way overboard with that afterward. The whole, becoming a tyrant thing. And of course, that's part of the thing Batman does, is that he doesn't think he thinks he would do the same thing. But realistically, he probably, if we were being accurate to the stories, he probably kills like 100 thugs a month just by punching them too hard. I mean, things don't work like the movies, guys. Somebody gets a concussion, you can just die from that. I mean, especially how strong Batman is. You punching a random dude, like, there's people in fights in real world to where, there's people that just punch a dude at a bar or something, and, they don't mean to kill the person, but they punch the person too hard and the person dies. I mean, Batman's essentially stronger than any Olympic athlete in real life, given especially some of the feats he does in the comics. I mean, even when they're trying to be realistic, it's beyond what any actual real-world human... Like, the amount he can bench press in Batman is multiple times greater than the strongest men, that we have on record, by several fold. Like, it's literally superhuman feats that even the greatest Olympic athletes would be like, yeah, we can't fucking do that. That's not realistic. But of course, it's not meant to be realistic. It's meant to be, yay, fun story. Because I enjoy Batman the Animated. Like, Kevin Conroy, he used the Batman voice, right? He did a great job. It's an amazing story, Batman the Animated Series. Granted, that was like, the 90s? It's a great show. And while Teen Titan Go is good too, it's a lot more of a comedy and a lot more silly, but it is enjoyable to watch. But I do prefer the original Teen Titans. Sleepy. At what point does the yawning make me stop being sleepy? I don't know. What the fuck am I talking about? Batman. But, yeah, it's just like Batman not gonna be killing people. Also, like I said, it's morally wrong. But again, I understand there's circumstances. Either accidents or there are circumstances. But again, that's, things that are best avoided, if possible. Especially people would be more likely to make decisions like that if they're really angry. And again, you can't really blame a person in that situation. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, people are just, we're human. You know? I mean, one, though it is interesting to hear people of many different perspectives. I dropped my controller. And just, hear their point of view. It's one thing I really like, is the idea of people having open conversations. As long as everyone's respectful and nice to each other, as I burp into the microphone. Acid reflux. That burns. It's uncomfortable. My throat. That hurts. I'm just saying I like the idea of people having open conversations with each other, as long as, everyone's respectful and isn't, trying to threaten or intimidate or insult. I mean, a lot of people just go straight to shaming language or, trying to actually, just scream and yell and bicker and call insults. And I'm like, that's not a conversation then. Conversation is supposed to be people having, a candid discussion with actually caring about what the other person thinks and feels. Or is my idea of a conversation different than what other people's? I guess other people might have different definitions for things like a word like a conversation. But I just feel like people should be able to discuss things as long as, they're trying to have a conversation as if they're friends, with no ill will at all. Then again, maybe other people have different ways of approaching this than what I do. Then again, I am kind of, at times, maybe a little, I don't know, sometimes I seem to bounce back and forth between being an overly idealistic person who looks at things through rose-tinted glasses and wants to see the best of people, and then to the really sad, depressed person who feels paranoid and just wants to curl in a ball in a dark room and be sad. So, still working on trying to find some sort of balance of moderation between those two extremes. I feel I'm failing. I feel I'm failing horribly, but I'm trying, so that's something. I was going to say it's a success or a win or something, but I'm not sure it counts. It's me. So, not a success. Kind of feel I'm a failure at everything I ever do. But hey! Yeah. I was trying to think of something, positive and uplifting to rebuild my shattered self-esteem after saying that. And I could think of nothing. Anyway, so back to, what was JoJo? Berserk? Were we talking about Guts from Berserk? Fucking hell! I need a floating Navi character, with a whiteboard to point out, yes, you were talking about this, Lunar D8. Fuck! And I like this thing. Some people, I have Lunar D8 written out as words for the Twitch. Not that anyone ever really shows up there, but I think I've had a maximum of one viewer ever. People have called me Lunar Dite, or Lunar Delight. Lunar, I'm a fucking dessert. Oh, Lunar Delight. What, am I a snack? I mean, am I? At this point, I'm just joking with myself at this point, trying to make silly jokes, haha, I'm making a joke as an attempt to build my self-esteem. It is failing. It is not funny, and it is not making me feel better. So, at least I forgot about the acid reflux, so that's good. What the fuck am I talking about? Give me a time. I will get there. I will remember. It was Goku or Batman. Why he doesn't kill people. Though realistically, just the way he punched people, or, the batarangs. I mean, you throw a batarang at people, that's fucking metal, as hard as it is. How does that... It's like a fucking throwing knife, right? That's like... I know Batman's skillful, but how would he just not accidentally kill people? Or even if he throws someone off, he goes to catch them, he's not going to always catch them. You're human. And I have to yawn. And burp. I'm just saying. Like, all that in story, and of course, like I said, all things said, dude was traumatized so much he became a dude who wears a leather outfit and punches dude in a street. Like, what happened? Well, this guy got traumatized, and instead of, getting therapy, since, he's a billionaire, like, he makes other billionaires look poor. He makes real-life billionaires look poor. The amount of shit he buys. And yet, he's wearing a leather suit punching clowns in the face. I feel like I'm describing a hentai now. You guys ever, read the Where's Waldo books? There's some where he's, by boats and stuff. There was one where, there was a rowboat and there was tentacles coming out of the water. And, of course, Waldo was nowhere near that. But I'm like, if you ever get the chance, look at the Where's Waldo books and be like, just look not for Waldo. It's one of those things that you're so focused on one thing, you miss everything else. I'll be like, oh, I'm trying to find Waldo. Oh, that's not Waldo. That's not Waldo. That's not Waldo. I'm like, that's not Waldo. That's fucking hentai, though. There's a dude being lifted out by the boat, and there's tentacles everywhere. I have seen enough hentai to know where this is going. Let's not gloss over this and keep looking for Waldo. There's some other shit going on. And that's my point. In the Where's Waldo stuff, in the areas where Waldo is not, take a look at what's actually happening. Forget that you're trying to find a dude named Waldo. And just look at the scene objectively as what the fuck is happening. And you're like, there's some screwed up shit going on in the Waldo universe. Just saying. I still think it'd be interesting if you took some of the Waldo maps and you made them into Halo maps. So you're running around the Where's Waldo universe. But, it was a Halo map. I don't know. Have I ever played Halo Infinite? I can't remember. It's definitely not the campaign, but I wonder, because I know the multiplayer is free, but I don't know if I ever tried. I know I tried Split Gate. What Taco Bell? I don't know. Split tacos. I don't know. I'm gonna get some burritos later. The fuck, Batman. I'm just saying. Batman's got a lot of emotional issues, so he can't bring himself to kill because one, that's he's got pride and honor, and it's wrong to kill people, and also Batman's a good guy. But let's be clear. Aside from the Injustice movie, even in a society that had abolished the death penalty, I'm pretty sure they would have started, doing it with the things that the people do, even in the toned down Batman animated series or comics. Some, let alone the extreme ones. But here's the biggest thing. It's a show meant for children. You can't have a show that kids watch where the protagonist is killing people. That is not an acceptable message to have for children. It'd be like the Power Rangers took out a chainsaw and decapitated people. You can't do that. It'd be like if Pokemon actually died in the Pokemon anime. Yes, realistically, they should be. But it's not meant for a bunch of edgy 20-year-olds watching, Chainsaw Man. And yes, Chainsaw Man's a good show. I'm just saying, I've watched parts of it. It's just so tired. Fuck. Falling asleep as I'm saying this. Shit. I need to get some caffeine. But I'm just saying this. Some shows are not meant. Take Gundam Wing. There were limitations to what they could show. People are still dying. But, there's limitation to what you could show in regard to violence and sexuality. Just because younger viewers are watching that shit. I mean, even the more mature things. Like the time I got reincarnated as a slime. Or Overlord with Ainz Ul Gon Momonga. There are limitations. Granted, there are some fucking graphic ass shit that happens in the light novels. And of course, a lot of stuff gets omitted just because there's no way you can include everything. Even if you didn't care about censorship and you wanted to have everything in there total. And in general, I kind of don't like censorship. I believe very strongly in free speech. But I also believe very strongly that if you're having a conversation with somebody, you should be respectful and nice to them, and you should talk to them as if you're talking to a friend. And I also think that there are certain things that should be, kept out of certain things. Like Pokemon. Yes. Realistically, people should be fucking dying with there's a fucking giant praying mantis monster going around slicing people with fucking swords. But that's not suitable for kids. Heck, it's kind of like the whole sexuality stuff with churches and schools. Like, that's a church and a school. That's not where that stuff should be. It's just nothing wrong with it. It's not appropriate for it to be at those places. It's kind of like, yes, you can think to yourself, your wife has some really big tits and you really love fucking her, but you're not going to do that at the church. You're not going to talk about that at the church. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's kind of like you're not going to sit down at a church pew and have like a bucket of KFC and just be eating it. Like, that's just not really the place for it. But I mean, you could argue that it's not healthy. And some people could argue morally wrong in terms of gluttony. Okay, terrible example. Okay, how about this? I can't just... I'm not going to mention a hentai book, because then, again, that's... Okay, what if you had a book that was a Wikipedia sort of thing? What's... like an encyclopedia. What if you had, a book that was an encyclopedia of WWE, about all the different wrestlers and stats, and who fought who, and who had what championship? Or, say, football. What if you had a book on all the football championships? You wouldn't sit in the middle of a church reading that. I mean, there's nothing morally wrong with reading a book about football stats. But that's not where you would do it. It's the same way, I wouldn't have, a Pokemon Game Boy. Granted, I mean, some kids might do that, but it's not really what that's meant for. Then again, I haven't really been into a church in a long time myself, just because I don't really get along with church people. Just because I tend to disagree with people about a lot of things. So it's I believe in God and in Jesus, but there's a lot of things, that a lot of preachers and pastors do not agree with me on, and a lot of church congregations consider me a bad person for. I don't think there's anything wrong with people being gay. But there's a lot of people that disagree on that point. But, that's the thing. It's I also have a tendency to want to read everything. I'm Christian, but I want to read things from other religions. Whether it be Buddhist, Hindu, Greek mythology, Sumerians, stuff from other cultures. Just because I'm fascinated by reading things and just seeing these stories. And also, there's the idea when it comes to, take the Catholic Bible, it actually has 7 more books in it than the King James Version. And of course, there's stuff like the Dead Sea Scrolls. And then, of course, there's the idea of this. What exactly are Jews nowadays reading? And, of course, there's stuff like Talmud, Mishnah. And then the idea is okay, what did Jesus actually read? Then, of course, there's the idea of, even way back in the time of Noah. Noah was alive for 500 years before he even built the damn boat. And then again, I've also listened to creepypastas about that, which take on a very dark turn. If you ever got the chance, listen to a creepypasta. It's narrated by Mr. Creepypasta, called, I think it's just called Noah's Ark or something. The Noah Experiment? It's called the Noah Experiment. The Noah Experiment. And it's just, Yeah, interesting. But it's just, I don't know. I like to just read everything I can, but I don't have the time to. Plus, I get easily distracted. So it's like, I'll start reading a book, like The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter, and I'm like, I want to play a video game. Or, I'm tired. Or, let's take a shower. Or, I'm going to drive to a city that's 100 miles away. You know, shit like that. And I'm like, so I have like hundreds of goals and I can't focus on any of them. But at the same time, I just like to do whatever I feel like wanting to do. Like, oh, we're going to read this book on chemistry now. Now I'm going to play this video game that's a visual novel. Now I'm going to read a bunch of Warhammer books. This one's on Tyranids. It's a how-to survival guide of Australia. Yes, I'm making the same joke about the giant animals in Australia. Maybe one day I'll actually visit Australia. That being said, what is there to see in Australia? Like if you go to France, okay, you're gonna want to see the Eiffel Tower and the Cathedral Notre Dame. Which I'll say this: I was at DC once. I think back in 2000. It was really cool to see the churches there. Especially there was also there was a Civil War museum. There was a Holocaust museum. There was several art museums. There were also museums about aerospace and airplanes. And really cool. And of course, there's all the monuments and stuff there too. But I imagine it's changed. I mean, it's been 23 years. We had the incident of 9/11. We had the pandemic. We had a lot of things that have happened in the world. So I imagine Washington, D.C. is very different than what I remember it. Because I think I was that was it's like 23 years ago. So I imagine a lot of things have changed. And museums would probably be cool to visit again. I'm just saying it would be cool to travel. Just to see some things. But I'm like, what would be cool to see at different places? Then again, I would want to be rich. That way I can actually enjoy traveling. But if you went to Australia, why do people visit Australia? Like, if I were to go to Australia, what would be fun for me to do? Like, what would I be happy doing in Australia? I don't know. I don't know. I was talking about Batman, then I feel like I talked about something else, and I don't remember what that is. Something about books and Bibles and stuff. I'm just saying I like to read stuff. Oh yeah, Noah. What did Noah grow up learning? Like when Noah was even a child. What did Noah even know about God? Like, what was his childhood? Or take Abraham, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, all that. What about Abraham's childhood? Or even with, take Jacob. Because, by the time we got to Joseph, he wound up going to Egypt. I'm just saying, when Jacob was young, what did he actually even know about God? What was considered... Or how about this? Moses. Obviously, he probably learned a lot about the Egyptian gods and mythology, which I still think it's fascinating to read that stuff too. But it's just... Yeah, and of course you didn't have, It's just... It's interesting to try to look at things from their perspective, and also, what information do they have available? I mean, it's... Could you imagine, what if you had, introduced things in the past? What if you went back to, Egypt in the time of, before Moses, when Joseph was still... Because he was actually, second most powerful man in all of Egypt. And then somehow things devolved over time into what had happened. But, what if you showed up that time and you're like, hey, I brought you a bunch of Pepsi and how to make Pepsi. That probably would have been not very healthy for everyone. But I enjoy the taste of Pepsi. But at this point, they'd be the equivalent of a fucking chain smoker going back in time and giving people cigarettes. I'm just saying I like to drink Pepsi, but it's probably not healthy for me. Probably not healthy for anyone. But I like it. I like ice cold Pepsi. Though Pepsi is disgusting and it's flat. It can't be flat and it can't be warm. And it can't be watered down. All of that is gross. It cannot be watered down, it cannot be flat, and it cannot be warm. It must be as cold as possible, but still be a liquid, and not hurt you in any way. I got distracted by Pepsi. Pepsi Man. They made a video game that called that. Pepsi Man was like, I don't know. And of all the things to do with the like, oh, I show it with Pepsi. I'm just saying, what if the internet? Like, I don't know, I'm just saying, the internet is interesting. It's like you have access. Like, the internet is like amazing. It's like you have access to a global library of information. You have every book that's ever been written. All the information that anyone has ever written down is here. 95% of it's porn, though. So I don't know what to say about that. I'm like, hello, aliens. Welcome to Earth. Hi, look at this. We have a great repository of knowledge where we have all of our physics and chemistry and philosophies and languages and medicine. It is the greatest library of greatest collection of information to have ever existed in the cosmos. More than 95% of it is people fucking each other. But the other 5%, is actual stuff like on how to do brain surgery and how to repair a car and how to make a fire or cook s'mores or how to fish. But most of it's porn. Almost all of it's porn. It's like, look at this, the great library of information. Oh, here's a self-help book. Oh, here's a light novel. Here's a book on how to cook exotic foods. Here's 1,000 books of just titties. I don't know what kind of impression we're making on aliens at that point. It's like, yes, we are also an advanced civilization. Here, have this book on how to achieve light travel, because our method of light travel is actually different than yours, and we think you would find it interesting. Also, here's 1,000 books that are interactive blowjob books. They're like, what? It's like, we had our priorities. This is so fucking dumb. But it's true. What the fuck am I talking about? Batman. Right, it's just, shows meant for kids. You can't really... You do have to watch, like, certain things. It's just like, you can't have Batman killing people. They're kids watching him. It'd be kind of like... Even the Batman movie, like Batman vs. Superman, he's going to, try to kill Superman. That wasn't exactly rated E for everyone. It wasn't PG-13, I don't think. Was it? I don't know. I'm just saying, there's a rating system for a reason. Like, there's nothing wrong with playing Mortal Kombat, but, it's got some graphic shit in there. Probably shouldn't be played by kids. But then again, that's up to parents to decide. Parents can choose what information their kids get. Because they're kids. When they're older, they can choose for themselves. But the main point is this. They're your kids, you're the parents. You're supposed to try. But again, with this modern technology, I think it's kind of hard for a lot of parents to keep up with stuff. Because, there's all kinds of shit just on phones. That's crazy to think about. Hell, how many people of the younger generations even know what a fucking payphone is? I still remember a time where the internet didn't exist, or at least was a thing foreign to me. I still remember a time where when internet first existed, it took up the one existing phone line. And when it started up, it was 5 minutes of robots having sex and screaming. It was just... all the random bullshit noises because it was using the fucking phone line. It was the slowest possible dial-up. You're like, AOL, you got mail. And there's like 4 websites on the entire internet. 2 of them only the government knows about. And you're like, okay, you can have a basic HTML chat with the 4 other people that have access to a computer on the planet. You know, that's, yes, I'm being very, very exaggerative. You know, I'm basically taking some creative liberties with my descriptions just because I'm trying to be funny with this bullshit discussion. Main point being is that the internet was very slow. There wasn't a lot on it, and a lot of websites were designed very differently than what they were now, and it was kind of the Wild West back then. There was no restrictions or censorship. It was just, everything was just there. And it was just Windows 98. And you could only have, like, you couldn't use the internet very quickly, and it was not a very common thing. Computers were expensive. Internet was expensive. They were hard to get by. There weren't a lot of carriers. Everyone had a landline. And if you went somewhere, you need to know where the payphones were. So you can put quarters into a phone in a box. Like, there's going to be people nowadays watching fucking old Superman movies, watching Superman going to a payphone to get change. They're like, what the fuck is that? Why is there just a small rectangular building? They're not going to fucking know. Heck, the only reason why people might understand a bit about a payphone at all is just the Doctor Who flying around in the blue police box. And even then, that's technically a different thing. That was meant just to talk to the police. Like, that's a thing that's also kind of just... I don't even remember ever seeing those. I think those probably stopped being used even before I was born. I needed air. I ran out of breath. But, just saying, holy shit. Hell, I remember I don't think I had a cell phone until... I don't think I had a cell phone at all until like 2009? And even then, it didn't have any texting ability at all. Hell, I don't think I sent my very first text message until, like, what, 2011? And even then, it was the basic fucking shit where it was, you had to push the numbers. So you want to type a letter S? 7777. Okay, that's the letter S. And that's how you can type anything. And even then, you might be able to type like a 15 characters. You know, just one sentence. And then it transformed. You have this whole freaking keyboard, and you can send paragraphs in the span of a second. Like, it went from, you have no ability to communicate with people. Like, I remember a time when phones, like, you didn't really have access to phones. To now, I can drive anywhere, and I have a small supercomputer, more powerful than what was considered science fiction in the past, that I can look up any library on the planet. I can look up information on, like, oh, a snake just bit somebody. What the fuck do I do? I could look up GPS coordinates and be like, where is the closest Outback Steakhouse? Because I'm a fat ass. I don't know. I like food. And I am fat. And now I feel sad because I called myself fat. I'll make myself feel better later by eating. Yay. Not recommended. I also go to the gym, which doesn't really balance out, but whatever. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm just thinking about a blooming onion now. What the fuck? No, seriously, I can't fucking remember. Something about the Bible? Like, internet, right? Communication. I'm just saying, like, you have access to all this information, and you can call someone, you can text someone, you can send them paragraphs, you can download a fucking PDF, you can go on YouTube and watch actual videos of anime made by people on the other side of the planet. It's fucking insane, it's awesome, but it's something that, you know, people even 100 years ago, hell, it's something that people even 40 years ago would have considered impossible. Hell, if you had gone back to the 80s, from the early 2000s. Like, if you had gone from the early 2000s even and gone back to the 80s and told people what things would be like even 20 years in the future, let alone traveling from 2023 into 1970, nobody would have fucking believed you. They'd be like, what kind of fucking... Like, that's not possible. Everyone's expecting flying cars. Instead, we have the internet. I think that's acceptable. I'm just saying there's a lot of shit on there, and it's like in general, I kind of feel like people under the age of 18 shouldn't even be on the internet, just cause. Now, of course, it shouldn't be a law or anything. I'm just saying a general suggestion, but again, that's up for parents to decide. You know, your parents, that's your call. But it's just, there has been so much cursed, inappropriate stuff that I've come across that even I felt, emotionally bothered by. There are things I've come across on the internet that I was like, people can't be this dumb, right? Like, you always see those things where they try to make fun of Americans for being stupid. Like, they show people geography things. You have these maps, and they're pointing to, like, what's obviously Germany, and they're guessing that it's China. I'm like, what? Now, I'll be honest, I wouldn't be able to point out every country on a map. But I refuse to believe that other people lack that amount of geographical knowledge. I mean, it's not like I'm an expert in the things. I'm just a guy who, I remember what a map looks like. The end. So I'm like, it's gotta be for a joke, right? But I'm like, But the fuck am I talking about? I can't remember. Trying so hard to stay on topic. I don't know what the fucking topic is. The topic is you're playing a video game. You're just supposed to be running in a circle to get level 125, and we got distracted. I don't know what even started this fucking tangent. Something about Batman, Goku? I don't know. I need caffeine. But, just saying, there is a shit ton of stuff on the internet. Stuff that even I find, discouraging, disheartening, disgusting, terrifying. Like, there's so much facts and information I've come across on the internet that I did not want to learn. There are so many pictures of things that I did not want to see. And I'm like, and of course, but then again, I managed to come across Hellraiser movies back when I was 7 years old, so yeah. Probably shouldn't have watched Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th stuff as a young child, but hey, that's me. I will say this, it's kind of funny. In general, I'm a person who wants to live as a pacifist, and I'm super nice and kind to everyone, and I just all around person who just, I don't like being mean to people. But I really, really do enjoy playing violent video games and watching horror movies. Then again, I know, controversial take right here. Horror movies are cool. I'm just saying, it's really cool. Then again, I kind of feel like a lot of horror movies are examples of this is, kind of showcasing that people should be nicer to each other in real life. I don't know, I kind of just want a world where no one would ever hurt anyone in real life, but we can all just play Grand Theft Auto together. I don't know, I really like Trigun with Fashion Stampede. But yeah, Batman. It's just, you can't have a show that kids are watching that they're going to try to emulate. I mean, granted, they shouldn't be trying to do the stuff Batman does anyway. I mean, he jumps off buildings and stuff. It's kind of like WWE. They have the whole advertising at the start saying, do not try this at home, you'll get hurt. do not, it's like jackass stunts. Like, yeah, professionals do this. Don't actually try to drive down a shopping cart off the side of the building. You will die. Or get seriously hurt. Main point is that you can't have it. That's the biggest reason of all why Batman can't kill. It's because the show is meant for kids. You can't have the main character killing people. It'd be like you can't have Ash Ketchum go up and stab Gary. That's not acceptable. This is not acceptable. Like, it's interesting story concepts and what ifs for us guys and gals, to be like, yeah, we're in our 20s and 30s. This would be a funny story. This would be cool. This would be action. This would be like a cool what if. But it's not and that's the same thing. As much as I hate to admit it, Dragon Ball Z is meant for children. That being said, I've been watching it since I was a little kid, and I will probably watch it until, I'm just saying I'm going to watch it for a very, very, very long time. So I can be old and gray, and I'll still be watching Dragon Ball Z. But, there's most of the people watching DBZ, there's a lot of new viewers to a lot of anime all of a sudden. Again, why a rating system's kind of important. And again, why Akira Toriyama really couldn't have Goku do certain things. Because, one, it would have killed the mood and the pacing of the story, but also, it's supposed to be kid-friendly. You can't have Goku decapitating people and then having off-the-cuff conversations cussing out Vegeta and then a sex scene with Chi-Chi. Like, you can't have that. That's not appropriate for all ages. So, but of course, it eventually got written off like, oh, because Goku doesn't do certain things, that, it's just not part of his character. It'd be like assuming that the action hero, just because you don't see him fucking people in, the 80s action movie, you assume, oh, he must never have sex. No, he does. You can't really show that. It's a movie. It's meant to be about action. It's not supposed to be about other things. You gotta try to stick to your genre. You can't have a movie moving around its genre like Lunar D8 does with his topics. Like, could you imagine if a movie was, based off of my fucking conversations? There would be no rhyme or reason to it. It would just be whatever fucking random fever dream I had at that moment. It's not consistent or coherent in any way. Hell, when I was in school, I'll say this, I got 4.0, I got honors diploma, I aced everything, but the only topic I really did struggle with, and of course I did need help with, was English. Which, of course, how can you struggle with your own fucking language? Here's how. I understand English. I do have a quite extensive list of words that I can use. I've been able to do so since a very young age. The problem is this. My word order and the way I string together thoughts and the way I phrase things is unusual. I would have no problems with math, and granted, I was really good at calculus and physics and shit in the past when I was younger, and I don't remember how to do any of that, and now I look at basic math and basic science, and my brain feels like it's burning itself out, and I'm like I'm not sure it's be arrogant of me to say I was really smart when I was younger, but I'm like, young me was a lot smarter than old me, okay? Then again, it makes my self-esteem feel better to go back and look, hey, I took calculus. I had a 4.0. I had 100% in the class. I was getting everything right. Acing every test, acing every homework. You asked me a math problem, I understood everything. I don't remember anything now, and I don't think I'd be capable of relearning it. I've had too many concussions and blows to the head, and swelling of the brain, and poisoning, and exposure to things that were not healthy for me. All around, also just generally, my mind tends to wander on things. to where, like, which I feel has gotten worse as I've gotten older. But mainly I'm just saying, concussions, not healthy. Not really good for you. Anyway, but beyond that, it was just an issue of, I took 3 years of Spanish. I don't remember any of it. Then again, I've also tried to learn a little bit of Rammstein, of German. I've tried to learn a little bit of German. And I used Till Linderman as my guide for proper pronunciation. And again, I don't really know how to speak German. I can't even sing it well. But I try because it's fun to sing. I know I can't sing either. I mean, my voice is epilepsy here. My singing voice is horrible. But I enjoy singing. That's the kind of thing. It's mainly a Let's Play channel. And I try to be comedic, even though I feel I'm not very funny. But I try to be. But I also read random books. I also sing karaoke. I'm also a depressed person who is emotionally sad and maybe a little off, I guess. But main thing I'm trying to say is that, it's healthy for people to talk about their feelings. It's not healthy to bottle things up. Maybe there's other people that feel the same as me, and they'll feel somewhat better knowing that there's somebody else who feels the way they do. Or, just in general, I'm like, hey, I'm a sad person. Talk about my feelings to make me feel better. I want to encourage you to talk about your feelings too. Then in general, is my phone ringing? Doesn't seem to be. I thought I heard it ringing. Main thing is that, hey, I think it's important people to express themselves. And I mean, as long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting anyone else, then it's good. I'm just saying, also in general, maybe you shouldn't be taking advice from random rambling man on the interwebs. I'm just some guy. I'm not a doctor. Go see a doctor or a therapist. I'm just some weird guy on the internet who talks about Batman. Batman! Shit. I need a shower. Does it make me Vegeta that I take 15 showers a week? I don't know. I've never been to an anime convention. Though I can't imagine, I hear, people say that people go to those things to smell bad. I'm like, why would you want to smell bad? I like to smell good. I tend to wear, my Blanc Red and a Zaro Wanted collection and stuff like that. So I continue to yawn. I'm gonna have to, fucking chug a Red Bull while I'm in the shower. The fuck am I talking about? I don't know. Something about languages and books? Shit, I can't remember. Trying so hard. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm trying to remember. Something about languages, calculus, I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember anything. I don't remember what I was talking about, guys. I got too distracted. Anyway, so, if anyone actually paid attention to any part of that conversation, and there was any part of that you wanted more stuff about, you're going to have to remind me what the hell it was, because I can't remember. So let's just hop back to the game, because, yeah, I can't fucking remember anything. So, back to this. Oh. Melting. Melting bad. Does this count as hypnosis or just annoying? You're getting sleepy! It's like fucking circles. All these circles make a square. All these squares make a circle. This hurts my eyes moving like that. I'll just try to move slightly to get the chests when they appear. Were they juggling that chest? Sure. Sorry, I got a little distracted there, guys. I was just started rambling. I'll do that sometimes. Was I talking about big titty goth girlfriends earlier? Though the goth part's more of a optional thing. Then again, so is the big titty thing. I haven't actually been in a relationship for about, what, 6 or 7 years now? I can't even remember. It's been such a long ass time. not, really been, any of that stuff since my divorce. We'll say this, though. Women of all breast sizes are nice. I will motorboat the hell out of A cups, and also the bigger sizes. I would say on average most of them were C cup, but I will say this. One girl in particular, 40, double Ds, super perky. I would like to give some excuse to justify why I spaced out thinking about that, but there is none. I just spaced out thinking about boobies. So, yeah. Also, hugs in general are nice, but hugging her was, and both at the height, because I was a little bit taller than her, but both the normal hug as well as the hug with my face lower in height. Motorboating's nice. You might say, oh, is it wrong to talk about boob size? I'd be perfectly cool and happy with if people were talking about my cock. Like, yes, Lunar D8 has a nice cock. Watch how it jiggles and how you can feel it pulse when it's hard. I don't know. I don't know what people talk about when it comes to that. I'm just saying, if the situation were reversed, I'm just saying if a Stolfo showed up and said, nice cock, bro, I'd be like, thank you. Besides, I can't be the only person out there who likes boobs. And people are like, but Lunar D8, what about ass? I'm like, yeah, that's nice too. Could go more damage, but there was other stuff you wanted, right? I'm not really sure. Do we need more armor? Negative fire armor. Kind of doesn't really matter anymore. Ooh, more shield. But, well, hell, there's like I'm not really much of a person to like watching football, but her and her family like to watch football, so I'd watch football with them. Then again, I had another friend who was like really big in the Wisconsin cheese hat people, Green Bay or something. I don't know. I don't remember, but he like watched the Super Bowl. Like the dude would actually sit and just watch the fucking drafts. I'm like, how do you make a day of that? He would just get pizza and wings and watch the fucking draft. I'm like, how is that enjoyable for you? I'm like, I'm not judging you for it, but how is that fun? How are you enjoying this? But if he enjoyed it, then good for him, I guess. But still, what the fuck am I? Oh, right. And also, like, me and her would actually play some Magic the Gathering. But yeah, about the ass thing. She also had a nice ass. We would actually play some putt-putt golf, and I would actually smack her ass at every hole. That was not meant to sound sexual, but given how I said the word hole, it definitely sounded sexual. I'm just saying putt-putt golf's cool. But I have tried actually playing normal golf, and I primarily, the driving range thing, because I'm not rich. But you can find a place where you can do a driving range really cheap. And I'll tell you this, I didn't expect it to be that exhausting, but I did a thing where I was like doing a driving range, like 70 plus balls, and halfway through I had to sit down and just sort of, sit there gasping for air for like 20 minutes, because it was exhausting. You wouldn't think that would be so tiring, but it is. Just trying to like drive balls as hard as possible is exhausting. Also, I felt like I strained my shoulder for like 4 days after that. I'm like, that hurts so much. Like, it was exhausting, and it actually was physically painful after. Kinda hungry. I think I actually will go to an Outback Steakhouse later today. And I haven't been to one in a while. So, that'd be cool. What if you had giant posters of Tyranids from Warhammer all over the walls? Well, that reminds me of something else. Someone once told me that they considered Ozzy Osbourne to be country music, and I was like, I disagree with that, but I'm perfectly cool if you want to add Ozzy Osbourne into that playlist. I'm just saying that I don't really think that belongs in that category. Oh, there was a corrupted shrine on top of a corrupted shrine. That's silly. No wonder it was shooting me so fucking much. I'd be terrible, though. Like, if I had boobs, I'd probably be playing with them myself right now. Hell, if I'm standing in the shower, I'll actually smack my own ass. Does anyone else do that? It can't just be me, right? Another controversial thing. I think 69ing is nice. I have over 5,000 energy shield. That's pretty cool. Oh no, my energy shield. Getting a tiny bit of slowdown now. My feet are cold. I have to pee. Can you hold it? Still undecided about the Dead Space thing. I'm not even sure if my computer can handle it in any way. Like, hey, I know Dead Space has got this new awesome remake where the whole new main focus is that it looks awesome with the new graphics. Who wants to watch a person with a computer that absolutely can't handle it? Hell, my computer probably wouldn't handle the normal graphics from the original game. Then again, it wouldn't even boot that one up. But maybe the different game engine will work better? I don't know. It is a lot of risk to take that because that's so expensive of a game to buy. Did it just spawn another corrupted shrine on top of the corrupted shrine I'm already trying to fill? I can't even see the results of the corrupted shrine that it's currently trying to. Well, when it starts... Yep, there. We'll take that. Pick up the chest. What do you guys think's good on pizza? Heck, what's the best pizza you guys ever had? What's good ice cream? What is the best thing to put in the taco? What's the best pepper for salsa? Am I standing inside a corrupted shrine? I can't even tell. Like, what is even happening? I'm really getting confused as to what's occurring. Like, where are all these shots coming from? There's a lot of projectiles, man. It's like 2. I'm pretty sure there's a little bit more than 2. I'm just gonna sit here for a chill bit. There are a lot of projectiles right here in this. I almost thought it crashed. Just spawned another corrupted shrine, huh? Sure, I wasn't already trying to fill one up, man. Okay, that's actually making me a little dizzy. What? Now I have a... I think I broke something. Apparently you're not meant to banish when you... Oh, there's one over here. It kind of annoys me to have to push the dash button so much. Like the fucking snake from that one game that eats apples. See the long line of fire behind me? Whee! I'm drawing a circle! It's like the black powder thing from the Binding of Isaac. But there's no giant pentagram or big booby bitches. Where did I even hear that from? I feel like that's... probably another Let's Player said that. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm just saying, you guys ever watched the video by Miss Hentai Music of the German Rammstein song Ryan Ross? It's It's Judgment from Helltaker. Let's just say it's kind of cute. Kind of cute. People are like, it's like, you feel like you're trying to tone that down. Like, yeah, because I'm trying to make it not inappropriate. Because if I went to full depth of just how sexy she is, I feel like that would be too inappropriate. Even for me. I'm just saying, really cute. We'll leave it at that.
Blast Zone.
Yeah. Everyone's like, what the fuck did Sonic the Hedgehog put in his chili dog? Powdered sugar. So I don't know what happened. Someone handed Sonic the Hedgehog a corn dog and he shot him. So where the fuck did Sonic get a Glock from? Oh, that I completed. trying. I'm pretty sure I saw... There we go. Try to pick it up. Wonder if I can run off the map if I have enough speed. Let's just go to the edge. And Oh, there's multiples of them, I think? On one hand, I could try to get all the corrupted shrines. On the other hand, I'm like, I'm kind of just wanting to go to bed. I think there's one to each side. I'm not completely fast enough, so. Yeah. There's one to each direction. Okay. Bye, everybody. Hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.